check. But this offensive line has been playing great. Creed Humphrey, if you want to talk about offensive rookies of the year, I know they don't go to centers typically, if ever, but Creed Humphrey is playing out of his mind. It was a home run draft pick by general manager Brett Veach. And this football team is trending up right at the right time. So I think overall, when you look at all of it, I would give the edge to Patrick for tonight.
So, Kimberly, Justin Herbert, behind a putrid offensive line last year and a coach bad enough to lose his job, was maybe the best quarterback under pressure? Like, was making the best decisions the fastest and with a rocket for an arm? He's faster than Mahomes. He's taller than Mahomes. And then this year they got him a left tackle who won't be playing. And he has the highest QBR in the league except for Tom Brady. And they're neck and neck.
Where are we going with this?
Well, how close is Herbert to Mahomes in terms of talent?
Listen, I get it. I am a big Justin Herbert fan. Hear me when I say this. I love Justin Herbert. But can we just dial it back just a little bit?
Why?
As far as, because I feel like we just came off of 2 back-to-back seasons where we're talking about Patrick Mahomes as one of the greatest to ever play the game. Now all of a sudden,
and this type of female makes everything worse for me.
Better than Patrick Mahomes.
I'm asking how close are they in talent?
Talent-wise,
I hate this type
to
of
me,
bitch.
Patrick Mahomes, we described him as like otherworldly in terms of what he can do. And all of a sudden it seems like we've forgotten that, like, I don't see Justin Herbert just throwing balls with his left hand, throwing across his body, doing these miraculous throws. And
Not so close.
they're like, we're comparing really great to very good. It's just like, what are we doing?
Sacho, I know what Kimberly means because Patrick Mahomes, really, in my eye, I think that's the best anyone's ever played quarterback.
What fucking sport did he play, bro?
Yeah, he didn't get to hold the clipboard the first year, right? He had to
What
play as a
sport?
rookie and played out
What
of his mind.
fucking
And
sport?
this year
Somebody
is like
please.
comparable to Mahomes' first year as a
Please.
starter, which was his second season. How close are they?
Oh, they're close. They're a lot.
They about to, the Chinese government about to shut this shit down. It's a waste of money. The whole field, the whole branch, the whole anchoring team. This shit is a waste of money. We cannot learn how to build a robot, but we gotta learn this shit right here. Think about it. And the motherfucker that's teaching us is a rejected doctor or a rejected nurse. Our commentary comes from a rejected nurse or a retarded doctor.
He's also a great leader. People don't talk about that often enough. And I think they're a lot closer than anyone gives them.
Here comes the I love you kind of guy. HBCU love. Y'all see the HBCU love, right?
I thought, and I said it on this show, if Kyler Murray bowls out
And I'm on the other side.
space in our minds
About face.
after that game, come morning, we'll put him in a different category. I feel the same way about this game with Justin Herbert if he balls out and beats the Chiefs. And I also
Even the colors, the gray and blue.
But I think
No highlighted green.
last guy in
She doesn't have no loud
he might
color.
be last, but he can be in that
They always gray and blue.
But call me when Justin Herbert has made 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, that's the difference. That's the difference. Patrick Mahomes lives in the AFC Championship game. Jaguars fired head coach Urban
She wore the
Meyer
same
in the middle of
blue
the night
last week.
after only 13 games with the team. Just hours earlier, a Tampa Bay Times report surfaced in which former Jaguars kicker Josh Lambo alleged that Meyer kicked him in the leg while stretching in warm-ups before practice during the week of the final preseason game. Lewis, could you imagine coming to work, your boss thinks he can kick you? Anyway, Shad Khan issued this statement on the firing. Quote, after deliberation over many weeks and a thorough analysis of the entire
Alright, so is hypnosis,
tenure with
is there a way to make you relieve
bitterly
like
disappointed to arrive at the conclusion that an immediate change
gas or something, like stomach
for
fluid?
everyone. I informed Urban to change this evening as
You feel me? You see what we're going with the calderons and spices and the herbs. If we got hypnosis, what else do they have? We got medicine, pedal to medicine. What else do you have?
Not a chance. And anyone who wants to write a speculative piece today about where could Urban end up, the answer is nowhere. This man is dead professionally, and he did it to himself.
Lewis, okay, again, you come to short time with the Jaguars, do you think, Luke?
I think you saw Max, a guy who was given the keys to a kingdom. Number one overall pick in the draft. Quarterback who many thought was quote unquote generational, can't miss prospect. Given an unlimited budget as far as how you can rebuild the organization structurally, as far as, improving all the facilities, improving everything around their weight room, practice fields, meeting rooms, allowed to make every personnel decision that you wanted to make, every staffing decision that you wanted to make. Basically, you had free reign, and you carelessly and disrespectfully treated it as if it was something you could do without at any moment in time. And that is, to me, the sign of, like, it's hard to really put into words. It's like the ultimate narcissist, just absolutely thinking that it was all about him, all about what pleased him, all about how he felt as though things could be done on a day-to-day basis, regardless of whether or not he was offending people, putting down people, not really looking after people, not positively impacting people within that organization. And it's just good on Shad Khan that at this point in time, although so much damage had already been done and he could have fired him months ago, he finally came to the conclusion that Urban really wasn't interested in regaining his trust and respect. And when you hear an owner use the word bitter, bitterly disappointed, not just disappointed, not regrettably disappointed, but bitterly disappointed, which leads you to believe that he's angry about this. He's angry about the fact that he gave Urban all of these things, entrusted him with his organization, felt as though this was the guy who down there in Jacksonville would restore credibility to his organization, not damage it further, not just throw it in the toilet, but restore it, treated it this way. That's what he did. That's how you can sum up his tenure in Jacksonville, which is the worst that I have ever seen in all the years that I have been involved with professional football, as a player, as a front office executive, as a fan, as the brother of someone who played in the NFL for 10 years when I was in grade school. Never seen anybody treat the position of head coach the way this guy treated it. And it's just mind-blowing to me, and we can't talk about it enough and bring enough attention to it, because there are many people out there who would have given their right arm to have this kind of opportunity, with not even half of the responsibility and half of the things at their disposal that was given to Urban Meyer, that would have done 10 times more with it. But he disrespected it in every way he could possibly disrespect it.
Kimberly, and part of that is that when you're entrusted with that kind of power, I'm sure if he in fact did, it's an allegedly kicked the kicker. I'm sure the kicker wanted to slap him in his face when he did that. But you're not going to do that to a coach who has an enormous influence over your future, over your livelihood, right? So it's a power imbalance that he's exploiting there. What are you hearing from around the league about Urban Meyer's time with the Jags?
The crazy thing to me was all the conversations I had from the time this man was hired to yesterday, before the news was official. People in the NFL were not surprised that Jacksonville turned into this unmitigated disaster. Because these conversations with league people, they talk about him being a human being. They talked about how Urban's going to have a hard time adjusting to dealing with grown men. And what got me yesterday was that people in the NFL, they were doing what we were doing, like doing the over-under. Like, how long do you think he'll actually last in this job? Do you think he'll make year 2?
Did the underwhelm Kimberly?
And the fact that what troubled me was that people were telling me, Trevor Lawrence was not happy. Trevor Lawrence realized, like, this is not a good situation for me. And I think Trevor Lawrence is the one piece in all of this. We talk about Urban Meyer all year, it feels like. And we don't talk enough about Trevor Lawrence. And the Jaguars have to do right by Trevor Lawrence in terms of who they hire next, because he is the future.
Sacho, we haven't been able to talk in a hot minute. What's your reaction to all of this? Just your reaction to it.
I wasn't surprised. And Kimberly said it great. Being a former player, guy who played 9 years in the NFL, I wasn't surprised. Even last night, before the news broke, when I read what I read about Josh Lambo, who kicks the NFL, we could talk about alleged, but I'm going to believe the kicker. I'm going to believe Josh, the guy who's part of the fraternity. I saw that. I said, oh, he's gone. He's gone. Urban Meyer is gone. A few hours later, we saw that Urban Meyer was gone. From the beginning of his tenure as a coach in the NFL, it went south. He hired a guy Well, there's actually 3, 4, 5 more, but just lastly, put it this way: to kick one of your players, and I get it. Lambo was kind of joking. Yeah, probably out of 5 out of 10 is what he said, right? It wasn't like he was trying to harm him, but that's number one. That's disrespectful. Lambo's a grown man. Number one. Number two, you're the coach. There's a power imbalance. So after that happens, Lambo says, "Don't do it again," and then Austin response says, "I'm the coach. I'll do what I want." To me, that points to a person who doesn't need to worry about trying to rebuild an organization. This person needs to worry about trying to rebuild himself and deal with whatever issues he has going on personally. And then from there, you can start building other people, organizations, teams, etc., etc.
Coach kicked the, like
It's like Seinfeld skit.
he's lucky he didn't kick the wrong dude. Because as you said, whether or not the intention is to do harm, just the disrespect. You kicked the wrong dude, this story would have been a whole different story a long time ago.
Max, I've been on teams before where players have gotten in fights with coaches. You kick a defensive tackle, an offensive lineman, somebody bigger than you, it'd have been a whole different kind of situation.
Or a guy with guaranteed money, right, and a big contract on his 3rd deal. Let's see, sounds to me like Coach knew who